Please can you remind me if you'll be so kind, staring out into space, asking God to hear my case, trying to think of all things past. How long will my memory last? The purple angel, purple angel, purple angel, you're next to me.
Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to Alzheimer Speaks. I'm Lori LeBay, the founder and CEO of not only Alzheimer Speaks Radio, but Alzheimer Speaks in general. And bottom line, we're an advocacy-based company providing multiple platforms to shift our dementia care culture from crisis to comfort. And the company was started because of my mom was on a journey with dementia for 30 years. And our family was like many others, feeling lost and unsupported and thinking there's got to be more resources out there, but I don't know how to find them. And so our goal is really to raise everyone's voice, from those who are living with dementia and diagnosed, their families, professionals that are providing all different types of service products and tools to authors and movie directors and singers and songwriters and researchers. We believe everybody's voice needs to be heard. And maybe you're a person out there who has not heard of dementia or not been touched. It's important for us to hear from you too, because we need to raise awareness of this situation and in what families are going through when this hits their home. So that's a little bit about us. We also help other companies expand their brand footprint through our audience. And then, of course, there's you, our listeners, who we would be nothing without you. And I am so grateful for each and every one of you because you've been so loyal and committed. You see, your likes, your clicks, your shares, I know they don't take much time to do, but they're powerful and they have had such an impact in terms of the growth and the spread of the word of Alzheimer Speaks and the work that we do. You've gotten us recognized by Oprah, by Maria Shriver, by Dr. Oz, by AARP, and so many others. And that isn't us. That's you believing that this information needs to get out. And so again, I can't thank you enough because you're making a difference in other people's lives. In all of your, Facebook friends or your LinkedIn colleagues or your Twitter tribes or your Instagram peeps, doesn't make any difference where, but there are people out there that are dealing with dementia that haven't told a soul yet. And the more information we can get out to them, the easier it's going to be for them to grab it and have a conversation. So please continue sharing. It is much appreciated. And also, think about being a guest on our show. Like I said, we are open to hearing everyone's voice, and you are one of them. So welcome to our community, and I would love to hear from you. You can contact me by going to alzheimerspeaks.com directly. There's a big contact button in the upper corner. So let's get to our show today because it's so fun what this man is doing, and he has gotten international recognition. People are really, really excited about his work. And so I'm just so honored to have with us today Lenny White. He is the first world dementia-friendly barber for men, and that is for men that can't get out and go to the barber shop anymore. He provides this pop-up service which creates that barber feeling for his clients, and so they don't feel lost and left out, and brings back dignity and fun. So welcome, Lenny. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, all the way from Ireland. Doing great.
Well, good. Well, I appreciate our time difference in trying to coordinate this and you being able to take the time to be with us today. Before I start with our line of questions about your work, I always like to ask everyone if they've been touched personally by dementia with family or close friends, just to give our audience a base.
Well, for me, in the past, it was just working in sort of the care industry. About 20 years, I got into dementia. But in recent times, my grandmother, who is 97, has just been diagnosed recently with dementia. It is in the family now. It wasn't before, but recently it's just come into play. So I've been in touch with it through friends and family now.
Okay. Well, and at 90, in her 90s getting it, she held on pretty dang long. So kudos to Grandma with that.
97 and she's still living at home.
Wow, good for her. Good for her. Well, I want you to tell people, how did you come into setting up your barber business?
Well, for me, it's a personal thing. I was actually married with 5 kids, and I got divorced about 3 years ago. And I think when you have those challenges in life, it gets you thinking about what you want to do, what you want to be. And I was in a job that I didn't really particularly enjoy. I was in marketing and sales for 20 years. Although the money was good, I had a good lifestyle, I wasn't very fulfilled. So I decided to do a little barber course in my local tech, and I finished that. It was about a 12-month course, but in the back of my mind, I always had an idea, because I used to watch, when I used to work in care homes when I was 17, I used to be a dishwasher, and I used to work in a care home, and I used to have to go out and serve the residents food, and I loved interacting with those that had dementia. Back then, the word dementia wasn't really used. It was, they're senile or they're forgetful, different names were being used, and I didn't really know much about it, but I knew that I felt comfortable in that surrounding. I used to love speaking to them and hearing their stories, and I used to watch the hairdresser come in and bring the ladies out into her wee room, and I used to think to myself, God, that would be really nice, wouldn't it? That's a nice job. Again, I just had the thought, I would like to be a barber in a care home, and that's when I really started to pursue my new career.
Wow, that's interesting. But I also find it interesting because I interview people all over the world, and there's always something, it seems like, when they were a young child that drew them to their passion. And I think so many people don't look at that. But I don't think I've met a person yet who hasn't, if they really truly look back, the dots are there that have connected them to where they are today. And I find that fascinating.
It's amazing because, even I feel like all my life, like I never knew what I wanted to be. I was stuck in sales. I wasn't really qualified in anything. And I didn't have a direction because I didn't know what I wanted to be. But it was staring me right in the face. It was there. But I had to go through all those different challenges in life. And it all happened at exactly the right time.
Yeah.
It was so easy. It happened so easily because I was so worried about, how can I leave my job? I was on good money. I had 5 kids to feed. I had a mortgage on my own. How am I going to start a new career? Because I would have to start at the very bottom and work my way up. And that was always my fear. It was always money, 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 money. I didn't even have to worry about that in the end. I mean, within 3 months of me, working part-time in care homes doing the barbering, I was able to leave my job. I got so busy.
Oh, that's great. Well, and I know for many, my mom was in a nursing home for 14 years. The hairdressers seemed to rotate. They had one for a long period of time, and then everyone else just kind of bounced in and out, because a lot of people have a difficult time. They don't have the passion, they don't have the patience and the creativity, which I can't wait to talk about. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your pop-up barber shop?
Basically, my pop-up barber shop, like I say, it's for men that can't get to the shop anymore, you know what I mean? So in care homes, as you will know, it's always been the men going to the hairdresser, and the hairdresser will give them a little quick cut, and then they'll be out the door. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is.
Yep.
And those men are getting brought in one at a time, and they are sitting with women, and the salons they use are all predominantly pink. There'll be old-fashioned, hairdressing pictures. It'll be nothing to resemble a barber shop. It's just really for the women. So that's what I knew was missing. I knew that in care homes there was nothing really for the men. There's so many activities for ladies. There's nails, there's makeup, there's pamper sessions, but the men were getting left out. And it's no one's fault. It's just the way that it is. There is only so much men can do. And activity therapists are always usually women. You know what I mean? There's not many men in care. I wanted to create a men's day, which was just for the men. And I started my business. It was back in November 2016. And I had a friend that worked as an activity therapist in a care home. I just told her my idea. Maybe we could get this set up. She said yes. She spoke to the manager, and I was able, once I finished my diploma, I got my qualifications and got my police checks and all my insurance, I was able to come in and do a little tester day. So that tester day, my mum had bought me a jukebox for the kids, a small jukebox, really old-fashioned, and we got a couple of Dean Martin CDs and Elvis Presley and stuff like that. So I come in and I sprayed the room with nice lemon spray. So when they come into the room, they smelt the smell. I had a barber pole, a big barber pole, which would usually sit outside somebody's wall, and that would rotate. So when they come in, they were getting the smells. They were getting, they looked at the barber pole, so they instantly recognized that as a barber pole. They're in the barber shop. And then they were coming into song. So those songs were songs they would have listened to when they were, back in the day. So it was setting up the atmosphere where they could feel comfortable. They were able to relax. And more importantly, it was very, very familiar to them. Plus, I would be dressed up in my barber apron, like an old-fashioned apron. Mm-hmm. So it was really, from that first day then, everyone seen a difference because the men sometimes didn't want to go to the hairdressers. They would stay in their rooms. They wouldn't want to come out. And with me, it was different because we could have conversations then about, like, things they wouldn't talk to a woman about, their old girlfriends and how are you today, and maybe, getting them opening up, to man chat.
Sure.
And that's what people need, and they miss that, because they're not getting that in care homes. So that was the very first day, and then I started posting my work online, because then I was just Lenny the mobile barber. I wasn't Lenny the dementia friendly barber. And how I became the dementia friendly barber was the Alzheimer Society in Northern Ireland had seen my work, and they got in contact with me, and they put me on a course, a dementia friendly course, and that's how I then became Lenny the dementia friendly barber. And I then, as I built up my business, I then got a job in the care home as a care assistant. Mm-hmm. So I was actually doing 20 hours a week, hands-on care work. And that really helped me with regards to, like, because a lot of my clients, I would be nursed in bed. So, they're, on the last 3 months of life, weeks, I would do them in bed. So I have to learn how to put the beds up, how to cut their hair in bed, how to move the beds, how to move wheelchairs, how to move this, that, and the other. So working as a care assistant really helped me practically. Obviously, then I built the business up. So it took about a year building it up until I was then full-time, traveling all over Northern Ireland. I've worked in New York. I work in New York once a year.
Great.
I'm going there again on the 26th of December, and I go for 9 days holiday, but one day I dedicate as voluntary time to one care home in New Jersey. And I bring my jukebox on the plane. I bring Irish CDs, and we have an Irish barber day, and it's great.
Oh,
so,
fun.
Yeah,
That's cool.
They love it. And this one time, this man, I think that one of those songs, When Irish Eyes Were Smiling, he actually sang that whole song, word for word in the corridor.
Oh, how neat.
I didn't even know the words of the song, all of it. Uh-huh. And this man knew every word of that song. So, with my business, it's very sensory. You reminisce. So the music is getting them opening up to memories. So I used to go with my wife to the dance hall.
Uh-huh.
And I would ask them questions. So what was it like? Did you tell me what happened when you went into the dance hall? Did the ladies, were they standing? Were they waiting for you to come and ask them to dance? And did you get a kiss at the end? Did you get a kiss at the end of the night? All these wee funny things. That men like to have a bit of banter and a bit of crack. So that's all a bit about, yeah. And it's fun. My job is to try and make these guys, just to give them, even if they have if I get one smile or that we in the eye, that it's registering. These men some of them are struggling. They're very fearful. You know how it is with dementia. There's different levels of dementia. And I'm having to really. Some are trying to hit you. They're trying to stand up, sit down. They won't sit down. So it's not all easy. Although it looks great online and everyone loves what I do, but behind the scenes, they don't see, as you know, the reality of someone living with dementia.
Yeah. Well, I love your approach because they just think of, every time you walk by a salon, you smell the perms and, and the women don't even really care for it, but they're used to it, and then for a guy to have to go in there for that. So I love that you've changed the aroma, you've got the welcoming music, you've got the visual, you dress the part, and then, letting them be able to reminisce and then have it be, a day for the guys.
I try not to leave the ladies out. I do have Hasbro Joy for All Pets.
Yep.
From America.
Uh-huh.
And I bring that with me, and it's a wee robotic dog, and I would give that to the ladies, while I'm working with the men.
Okay.
And then I am also working with a company that they take secondhand dolls and they make them better. They make new clothes for them. I then deliver dolls to the care homes that I go to for the ladies.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and that's really good. And then I have my silent disco, which is a new thing.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So the silent disco has just started over here. It's basically wireless headsets, and the headsets to the left and the right, they light up as the beat to the music goes, So I say, for example, I have 5 headsets. I'll put them on each individual person that wants it, and I'll play nice music to them. And it comes with a mic, so I have a mic, and I can hear what they're hearing. And once I speak into that, I go, "Hello, Mary, how are you?" And she'll go, "I'm good." "Hello, Bill." And even ones that are maybe a partially deaf can really hear you better.
Uh-huh.
That's worked really good for, like, if there's, say, dance music on, or there's some funny music, I'll say, "Put your hands up in the air, give us a wiggle, get the feet going, move your hands back and forth." So it's getting them to do exercise, it's getting them to move, it's getting them to hear better, and it's really all about a crack. And I'll have props, so I've got a photo frame, a blow-up photo frame you can take pictures with. I've got disco glasses, I've got glow-up sticks. It's just all a bit of fun. It's just to try and have a bit of fun in what can be a difficult time for those, that are going through life with dementia. I try and I'll give the dog and the babies and the silent disco to the staff, and they'll go and bring it round the home. So everyone is benefiting from me being there. That was always my plan.
Oh, that's very neat. That is, it's so well-rounded and so well thought out. It's like, I just want this in every care home, it just...
It's so much fun. I mean, because it's like whenever we go, we say to him, "Man, oh, you're looking really good today. You're looking really handsome." And then obviously that person has to then leave the salon and go out. And then the care assistants will then take over. And they'll go, "Oh, Jimmy, you are looking brilliant. You're going to get a girl tonight, and you're going to get a kiss." So it's not only me, it's everybody, because even the staff, they love the smells. They know whenever I'm there, because they can smell me down the corridor. They can smell all my soaps, all the old soaps. I'll use Brill cream. I'll use all the old-fashioned, Brit. They love Brit. They love Old Spice aftershave. So I'll have all the old aftershaves as well to put onto them. And again, they're remembering those smells from years ago. And some of them haven't even used that in maybe years. I mean, they can't believe it's still around. Because I buy it online, and get all the old-fashioned stuff that they would have used. So it's a whole day. It's a whole day thing, and it's everyone's getting affected. And then you have the times whenever it can be challenging, where maybe this man one day is just not happy. He's not having a good day, so he's very agitated. He's maybe sitting in the chair and he's moving about, and he doesn't know where he is. So that's when I'll have to maybe turn the music down, bend down to him, look at him in the eye, tell him, even pat him on the shoulder. Touch is so important. I'll pat him on the shoulder and reassure him, "It's Lenny. I'm your barber. I'm here to give you a wee haircut." I'll show him my tools. We tap in the head just to try and calm him down. So those are the things that people don't see, that you have to try and there's many every day is like that. You'll have your challenges every day. I'll be having to maybe walk around with somebody cutting the hair while they're walking around. They won't sit down. They're trying to hit me, and I know it's not their fault. And then they'll remember. Oh, they'll say sorry. I said, "It's nothing. It's nothing to be sorry about. It's fine."
Yeah.
So every day is so different, but the setup is the same every day where I go. But obviously, every client is different. Every care home is different. And it's been an awesome 2 years. I love it. It's not like going to work. Like you know yourself when you're doing something that you know that you're called to do. it just is so natural to you to do it.
Yeah, no, I get that because that's where I'm at too with my work. I walked away from a 25-year career in real estate. Never thought I would leave. Never in a zillion.
Yeah.
I adored what I did, and by 2 weeks after I left, it was like I was never in my old space. Like I was never a realtor. It's like, how can that be? You know?
I remember I left my job, I think it was a Friday, and I was working, looking at, and Friday working, going, this is my last day, having to sell my soul, and, and that was on the Friday. And by the Monday, I remember, because I started my job as the care assistant on the Monday, and I remember on the Monday, I was sitting feeding a lady her lunch in her bedroom, looking out the window. Within 3 days, I was so unhappy, so miserable, so uncontented in my job. And I was on really good money to leaving that to basic pay, but yet I was totally fulfilled.
Yeah, you just kind of wish everybody could go there, but so many people, I mean, and I understand worrying about money, and I still don't make what I was making, not even close to what I was making when I sold real estate. But I still, I make ends meet, and I love what I do, and I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's the idea. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Do you have future plans? Are you going to franchise what you're doing at all, or?
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan, because I get calls, all over the world, and there is only one of me, you know what I mean? I can't do everybody. And my plan would be, I would love to have, a Lenny's barber shop in every care home and facility.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the plan. But it's just getting the right people.
I'm going to hook you up with somebody who has a lot of salons in a lot of different communities in the U.S. If you'd like, I would be more than glad to connect you.
Yeah, because I need the help, as much help as possible. Because the idea, it's a needed service. It's definitely a needed service, because nobody doing it. There's a few people since I came on board. There's people now starting to do it. And that's always going to happen. You're always going to get people see an idea and run with it, and that's fine. But for me, I want it to be right. I want it to be a good model that's going to be the same no matter where it is in the world.
Yeah.
But I love it, and I'm very blessed. I'm a very blessed man to work with people with dementia. It's a privilege to come into their world. I always say I meet them where they are. Mm-hmm. Like my dad, as I was saying, had died there last Thursday, and the funeral was on Monday. And my grandmother, obviously, it's her son. She's 97.
Yeah.
And she's her son. But after the funeral, we come back to the reception, and she was sitting going, why are we here? She'd forgotten already why she was there. And she's only early stages dementia. And it's sort of a godsend, in a way, for her to think like that.
Yeah.
In a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll obviously, I'm not going to go and say to her, oh, we're sitting here at Dad's funeral. I'm not going to bring her back down to that level of grief again. I'll maybe just say nothing, or just talk about something different.
Yeah.
And that's what we've learned to do. I'll come into their world, whatever conversation they're having. You're my brother, or we used to play football together, didn't we? Mm-hmm. We used to play soccer together. And I'll go, yes, we did. But didn't we have good fun? Didn't we have good crack? Yeah, and I'll just go into whatever they're talking about. And obviously, I always try and keep it positive. If they're talking about something negative, I'll turn it around for them and turn the conversation around to something positive, to take them out of that wee panic, that wee hole that they're in for those moments, And yourself, there's many of those.
It's so wonderful how you really, truly understand the journey and just the techniques that you're talking about. So many family members need to learn, and still a lot of staff need to learn, about really, our main goal has to be, are they safe? Are they happy? Are they pain-free? And then our tasks come into that. But it's all about their comfort, and not just their physical comfort, but like you said, their emotional comfort. Because I know with my mom, when my dad died, people go, oh, she's just doing amazing. And I'm like, she's into old mom gear. She's taking care of everybody else. Are you doing okay? She doesn't realize that the man in the casket's her husband, which again, like what for your grandma was just a true gift, because you don't want someone to keep spinning through that over and over. You just seem to have such good intuition, and then you seem to have really learned as you're going and are eager to learn new ways to bring them comfort and make their day, a fulfilled day, which is really, really neat. Yeah. I think it's also interesting. I take a lot of tours when I go out because I speak around the country here. I haven't been to Ireland yet, though, but would love to come.
Yeah, I'll pitch up anytime.
But anyways, when I'm out traveling and taking tours of places, they always point out the salon. And you're right, not once have I seen a barber shop. And I just think that is something that is really overlooked. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the questions I wanted to ask you, because I noticed this with my own mom, and when the hairdresser was in for the ladies, they just all perked up. And do you see that with your guys?
I was there I was at a place there a few days ago, and because I only go back every 6 weeks, because the men don't need their hair cut every week. It started at 4 weeks, and then the hair wasn't that long, so 6 weeks is the average now that the older person will get their hair cut. And these men, I'm getting told that these men are asking, when's Lenny coming? When's he coming? Because when they come, we have so much fun. Mm-hmm. These men are wanting to be first in the queue. They'll be waiting for me. From 9 o'clock, they'll be getting their breakfast, going, "What time is Lenny coming out?" And if I'm like 10 minutes late, for example, they'll be going, "Where were you?" These men perk up because the difference is that I'm getting the men all together. So I'm getting these maybe at a time, maybe 6 men at one time in the room. And then one person will leave, and the new person will come in. And then I'm dancing about, as the music comes on, maybe I'm shaking my legs and all, so they can see it, and my hands, and just getting them to do different things, and he's laughing, and, we're all having, I put on a show. As I'm cutting the hair, I may be shaking my leg at the same time, so he's looking at that, like shaking Stevens or something like that, So my day is full of me putting on a little show for these men, and even maybe sometimes I'm tired, as you do, every day. Sometimes we get tired, but then I'm having to I'll work at it, and I'll make sure that these men, they're being left in a good place before I leave, and it's helping me, mm-hmm. because it's two-way. It's a two-way thing here. Even me going to work on Wednesday after my dad died helped me, because I'm looking after these men. So it's completely a two-way thing. They're helping me, I'm helping them. In all ways, emotionally and everything else in all life. So by me working, by me doing what I'm doing, these guys don't know what they're doing for me in all levels. But yes, go back to that. They can't wait. They enjoy the barber day because it's fun.
Do you get comments from family at all? It must be hard because you're not there all the time. But I know that as a daughter, I could always see the difference. She just sat different and was.
They can see the difference because some of the men maybe are agitated, but then when they come into the barber shop, they're so relaxed, mm-hmm. and the staff can't believe that he is sitting for you. They're saying to me, "I can't believe that you're shaving him because he does not let me shave him." And I'm going, well, it's just the atmosphere, and then obviously I get a lot of families follow my page online, and I have a lot of fans on that. So I get all families when I'm posting their pictures online. "Oh, that's my dad. Thank you so much. He loved it." Because as we get older, eyebrows are sitting like, they're covering their eyes. They can nearly barely see after 6 weeks, and the ears are like forests. They're filled with hair, and it's something that the hairdressers just wouldn't have done. So I'm shaving even the top of their nose. I'll shave the actual top of their nose. Uh-huh. There's no hairs in the top of their nose. I'll shave all in around the ears, inside the ears, up the nose, eyebrows, and their hair, obviously. So they're leaving feeling good, but they're looking pristine clean. And that's what the family is really like, because nobody wants to see your relative looking scruffy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want that. So I make sure that they're clean shaven. They're looking, I put all the nice creams and, all the nice, I get stuff from Turkey, all this smelly stuff, and they look good and they smell good, and I'll spray a wee bit of aftershave on them before they go.
Do you use an electric razor or are you using a straight razor?
Well, initially it'll be It'll be like a battery-powered one to get the hair off, and then it'll be a wet shave. It's always a wet shave.
Okay.
A wet shave with a clean blade every time, and I use proper old-fashioned soap with the brush.
Mm-hmm.
I'll foam the brush, I'll foam it up, put it on their face, so they then recognize, they know, they used to use this themselves. I remember having one guy who was agitated, and he just wasn't happy in the chair, and I was giving him a shave, and he just wasn't happy, he wouldn't let me do it. And I remember you have to be careful, but I got the razor and I held his hand with the razor up to his face, and I sort of let my grip go a wee bit, and he started shaving himself, remembering how to shave, and I thought that was amazing.
Wow.
He was able to, and he relaxed, and I had to help him at the end, but even for those few wee moments, he was shaving himself. He was actually doing it himself. By just me guiding his hand up to his face, and that was it, and then me letting go, and I thought that was lovely. That was about 6 months ago that happened. I thought it was really nice. It was just lovely to watch, and for this guy to remember, oh yes, I know how to shave.
Yeah.
Whereas a few moments before he completely forgot. And then maybe sometimes they would know how to shave, but they just can't remember, and they're frustrated. You know what I mean? And I'm having to joke around with them, and I'll do it for you. I love getting shaved myself, and whatever else. So it's just, like I say, every client's so different. And you have to use so many different skills for each one. But for me, it's so easy. I don't even have to try. It just comes completely naturally. And I just go into whatever mode. I don't know how I'm like or where I've got it from, but I know that it's just in me to react that way, without even having to try.
Wow, that is really neat. I just adore your work, and I think it's so important to bring that dignity and that fun back in, and you're doing that on so many levels. I remember with my mom in the beauty shop, and I don't know if you run into this with the barber shop, but a lot of times the ladies wouldn't want to leave, even after they got their hair done, they like hanging out there. I mean, it was just truly an activity.
I really want those men to stay in the room, or stay outside the room so they can still hear the music. That's what I always try and do, I try and get them to stay, because it's only one day in every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And unless they really want to go back to their room, I will encourage them to sit and wait. And sometimes if I go, and I might go and, Mr. Smith doesn't want to come down. He just, and he's having a bad day. Well, I will go and speak to Mr. Smith, and I will say, Mr. Smith, hello, how are you? It's Lenny, the barber, and I will say, I have got you booked in for an appointment this morning at 10 o'clock, and I've came all the way from Belfast to see you, so are you coming down? 9 out of 10 times that works. Like that's a wee technique. If I say to them, you have an appointment, you have to come down.
Yeah.
Because their mindset is, I want to stay in bed all day. I don't want to face the world, or whatever they're going through in their mind. They just want to sleep. Yep. But I believe that it's really important for them to come out for that hour or whatever it is that will set them up for that day. Mentally, they're going to be feeling better because they're hearing the music and they're hearing the crack and the chat.
Well, and you're coming up to them, says you're important to me. I want to see you. I want to spend this time. I carved it out, just for you. And,
definitely.
And they don't hear that a lot.
It's compassion, really. I have compassion for them because I could be that person in years to come. I could, you know what I mean? I could be that person that he's looked after. So that's the way that I look at it.
Yeah, it could be any of us, that's for sure. Is there anything that we haven't covered so far that you'd like to mention what you're doing? It's so much fun. I'm taking notes about, because you're doing aromatherapy, you're doing the textile with the touch and the feel. You've got the music incorporated. You've got the sights in terms of what you're wearing and the barber pole. I mean, there's just so many aspects that you've really incorporated. And then you go beyond that to, having your robotic dog therapy and the doll therapy. And you just, I can tell you just have such an open heart, and definitely we're meant to do what you're doing because it's really having a great impact. And like I said, people all around the world are just fascinated by what you're doing. And that's, that's got to feel really good too.
It does.
That people are recognizing that, what you're doing is something that's missing in the world, and there needs to be more of it.
People are sort of going like, why hasn't somebody done this before? Why has nobody thought about this?
Yeah.
I was going, well, they weren't meant to. It was meant to be for me.
Yeah. Well, exactly. In order to reach you, you can go to the website, Lenny, the DementiaFriendlyBarber.com. That's Lenny, the DementiaFriendlyBarber.com. Or you can look him up on Facebook, follow his work, and just put in Lenny, the Dementia Friendly Barber there, and he'd be more than glad to communicate with you and work with you. Well, thank you again for spending so much time with us today. Really appreciate this. I just wanted to catch on all over. It's very important work. And, like you said, the women have had these salons forever, but the men deserve it too.
They do.
This is just it's a great extra way for people to connect. Thank you so much, Lenny. You have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, hi, I'm Lori LeBay, and I wanted to tell you about Alzheimer Speaks, which is another great podcast. You see, my own mother lived with dementia for 30 years, and I felt lost. Did you know every 3 seconds someone in the world is being diagnosed with dementia? Odds are it's going to hit your families too. We want to help you connect to services, products, tools, research, and stories so you can be prepared. Please subscribe to Alzheimer Speaks on your favorite podcast platform.